There's so many rules in 40K, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Hangout on Hobby. I am here with the High Mara himself.
That's right.
Jack Arster. And I'm Richard Siegler of the Machine.
Any good High Mara haul,
You're working on
my army.
Brand new Black Templars. There's
Brand
always
new
more
Black
to add.
Templars.
Black Templars do not respect the Codex.
No, they
just
don't.
keep
Not when
adding.
it gets in their way, for sure. They know exactly where to stick it.
Keep adding more and more dudes. That's the motto of the Black
That's right.
Templars. I believe that is engraved on their crest or something.
Yeah, they're like, we're always a crusading army, so we always can have as many dudes as we feel like. And I don't really see anyone lining up to disagree with them.
Now they're like, okay.
Yeah. So,
You don't want to mess with Hellbreak with so many attacks now.
no, because
If somebody shows up with 7 or 8 attacks, I don't want any of it.
That's
It's flat
fine.
3 damage.
But what about if he shows up with 14 to 16 attacks, depending on chance?
It's also very scary.
Yeah, but that's only damage once. It's actually fine if you think about it. It's only strength 6, AP4.
Just pick up your 10-man squad of whatever.
Yeah, just get out of here. Get out of here, you scamp. Come on.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Christian, how you doing? Are Blood Angels better than Black Templars?
Oh boy, really starting off strong. I will say I asked Nick after our game at Crucible. I asked Nick what he thought where he thought good Blood Angels played well, where he thought that was on the tier list, and he said low A tier. So we're getting him up there.
And next week you'll actually be able to bring back the Blood Angels in the War Room and take another notch on your belt.
That's what we're looking for. The Blood Angels have been doing some work.
And it's against Nick.
And it's against Nick, who has not beaten them on stream yet. Not for lack of trying either.
I mean, he tried with Tricari, right?
He really did. Most people would have thought that'd be enough, but just didn't quite have it, you know?
We're going to see if he can do it with the Tyranids. Tyranids are a pretty scary matchup, honestly.
Yes. If he really wanted to get the job done, he'd just be like, here's 18 Hive Guard.
I don't know if he needs that many.
But I think he wants to
stuff.
pretend to run a balance list of some kind. I don't know. Maybe I just go first on sweep and clear and just charge him. He's the saddest boy.
You just got to go on sweep and clear.
Yeah.
It's in the rule book. Blood Angels start on sweep and clear.
Yeah, on a 4-up, we start on sweep and clear. On a 1 through 3, start on priority targets. So what are you building today, buddy?
I am building a Ghost Ark.
A Ghost Ark?
Some Necrons. I have a closet full of Necron stuff that Games Workshop decides shouldn't be good this edition. But eventually it will be good.
After their 5th points increase.
And yes, they need more points increases. It was a shame that they only increased the cost of the Command Barge and the Chronomancers and Tropic Lance. There's so much more to increase.
Maybe they just got confused about how to win games of 40k. They're like, whoever has the most points.
No, like seriously, I think they just watched a couple of the stream games where I was winning with the Silent King. Or Necrons are actually really strong. They're beating up Marines. This cannot happen.
Somebody had a bad experience into Necrons at one point. Where is this?
Well, particularly Command Barges and the Entropic Lance. That's what went up. And I was the only one just murking character. I killed Dante with Entropic Lance, killed the Vexilla and Custodes.
Now it's just harder and harder to justify.
Just one shot, one dead, beefy character. And now it's a 10-point upgrade because of that.
Nobody wants to get tropical now.
Necrons and GSC have some of the most expensive characters that do very little.
Yeah, no, the Abominant was bad when it came out. It just didn't.
Why does he have 3 attacks?
Why do they hit on 4s?
Sometimes I don't know what they're thinking, and then you come with the Succubus shows up with 14 attacks that do mortals, and
Yeah, or
auto
competitive
wound, yeah.
edge. I mean, you can make 2 broken succubus. You need to clarify exactly.
You can honestly make
You can make
3.
more than that.
Yeah,
you can make more than that. I mean, you need to honestly clarify which broken succubus you're even talking about. Because
It's all of them. In fact, it's all of them.
It's all of them.
Even when somebody doesn't take the proper ones, you're like, that's still a strong character
I
for
still
60
need to
points.
respect this. Yeah, it's just like, let's...
You didn't even take any of the good ones, good combos, but it's still...
It's still 60
Very
points
strong.
for this. Like a company champion, not a chapter champion, a company champion is like that many points.
Yeah.
And he comes with like a master-crafted power sword.
The succubus is cheaper than every Necron character by at least 15 points.
That must mean she's worse than them by 15 points, right?
When she adds Show Stealer, she's the same cost as the cheaper ones. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
Necron characters need to drop like 20 points minimum. Minimum.
Is this a Necron Grievance stream right
Yeah,
now?
well, Christian brought it up. He loves when I'm talking about Necrons. It's just,
I love watching you get salty.
I have the book in my room. I was just reading it again last night because I was like, all right.
There's got to be something.
I go back to it every couple months. Like, meta's changing, there's new stuff, Tyranids are back. Let's see what we can come up with here. And every time I am struck by the fact that every possible conceivable combo that could have been in that book and been powerful, there's an exception. There's like, nope, you can't. We recognize that you could do that, but you cannot.
Like what?
There's
Give me an example.
Let me just talk to you about command protocols.
I would
right?
love to hear about command
Okay.
protocols.
Do you know what command protocols are, John?
Very vaguely.
That's the army-wide ability, right? Pure Necrons can't ally anything. They get command protocols.
Wow, this sounds strong.
It should be, right?
Right, it should be.
Admech have amazingly powerful ones. Drukhari can just do whatever they want. They can just break every rule that they want to. You have Marines with doctrines, super powerful. Black Templars just got vows. Awesome. Okay?
Awesome. Okay.
It adds benefits, you know.
Yeah. Well, Blood Angels get +1 attack. You know, and
It's
your
just
insult
good.
doctrine. It's a whole thing.
It's good stuff, and there's stratagems and things to interact with it and make it better.
Right.
Great. Here comes Necrons.
Wow, I'm excited.
First of all, you need to have a noble in your army, right? I'm gonna get to your super chat, Matto. I appreciate the $5. I'm gonna get to it. Don't worry.
Okay.
But let's just talk about.
No.
command protocols
I
for
don't want
1
to
second.
interrupt this train of thought. Continue.
Okay, you have to have a noble in your army.
You gotta have a noble.
Gotta have a
but
noble.
You want to have a noble.
You think you would, but right? I just talked about how Necron characters are dramatically overcosted and basically do nothing.
So you base it on Chronomancers, is what you're saying. And that's-
Because on top of that, their warlord traits and their relics are pretty trash compared to the warlord traits are the worst in the game. They're worse than most 8th edition codexes.
John was saying Tyranids were in contention.
Not anymore. They're not in contention anymore. They actually got good ones.
Didn't you used to take Inspiring Leader from the main rulebook?
Not used to, Jack. I still do. Generic +1 leadership aura is the best thing that Necrons can access. And they're a leadership 10 army, to
That
be
is
clear.
deeply embarrassing. I need to read this book. That can't possibly be true.
Okay, so awesome.
All right.
Get ready for this.
So you don't have to spend CP on extra world traits and relics.
So you have to have a noble. Let's get back to the...
Right.
You have to have a noble.
Right.
Okay? 2 of the best characters, the Locust Lord and the... Because they're reasonably cheap for what they bring, and you can put some reasonable melee on them. And the Scorpek Lord, neither are nobles. They're lords, but they're not nobles. So you have to buy either the...
Wait, what? The Scorpek Lord is a lord, but
And
not
the Locust Lord, the Destroyer Lord, they're lords, but they're not nobles.
Okay.
Whereas the basic Lord, he's a noble. The Overlord's a noble. The Silent King's a noble. And then the Command Barge is a noble.
Okay.
So you have to take one of those to access this. If you don't take any of those, you don't even get their army-wide ability.
Well, all right. But I want this army-wide ability.
But there's more,
Give
Jack.
me the army-wide ability, seats.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we'll take one of those nobles. Excellent. He has to be on the battlefield. Great. Now, in addition to the noble in your army, in order for your units to benefit from these command protocols, they need to actually be within 6 inches of a character.
That's not how it works with any other
No.
army-wide super ability. But
No.
that must just mean that when you are in range, they're really good.
You would think, but
You would think.
Here's one more thing, Jack. You have to decide pre-game what turn each ability is going to be on and
my
reveal
God.
it to your opponent.
With that amount of pre-planning, I'm imagining this being in the hands of an inexperienced player. It's garbage. In the hands of an experienced player, you can play it like a keyboard. You're just going
Let
off.
me just give you some of these.
Oh
Okay?
my God!
One
I'm
of them,
so ready. If
one
you
of
can time these right, I'm imagining game-breaking effects.
each command protocol has 2 different directives. And
Oh my God.
You choose one of them, so you don't even get both of them. You have to do a...
But there's so much flexibility in there.
You would think. So here we go. Here's one of them. You heal an extra wound with living metal.
Oh, living metal. What's that?
That is
that what
an
you
ability that all multi-wound models have. If you take damage, you heal a wound. This means you heal 2 wounds.
Well, that just means you take the turn off. That one's a stinker, obviously. You're taking the turn off.
Here's
That's
the other
fine.
one in there.
All right.
Reroll 1 die when you do reanimation protocols.
Not reroll the dice.
No, it's just one. Just pick one of those.
just a single
It's like a
one.
Gaze of Fate for just a reanimation.
But aren't you rolling like 20 dice at a time with this?
You should be.
All right, as I said, you're taking this one off. That one's going in there. Maybe you don't need anything turn 1, right? It's fine most of the time. I'm imagining.
Okay, here's another one. Here's the
All right.
melee one.
All right, melee.
Okay.
Let's go.
Melee,
Love
right?
melee.
6 is to wound, additional AP. Okay?
Okay, that's kind of
Not horrific.
Great.
The other one's +1 strength. But guess what? Necrons have a 1 CP +1 strength
Are you saying
stratagem.
you can stack it? You get
Potentially.
strength 6. You can wound witches on 2s?
Potentially.
I mean,
So-
if you time it right.
But remember, when you're benefiting from these, you have to be within 6 of a character. And boy, are those Necron characters generally moving 5 inches. So, not what you want to see.
No, you really.
You've got the same thing for shooting at 6s to wound or an extra AP, or you get access to ignore cover, but only if you're in half range. And Necrons have 1 CP, just ignore all the benefits of cover for anybody that targets a unit.
Well,
already.
see, now you're just complaining that you have good strats.
I mean, that's one of the few good ones. Then you have what are some of the other ones? There's some absolute trash ones as well. I love this one. Cover. You know how cover is such just a prominent ability in the game?
Yeah, you want to be in cover, right?
Here's how you get cover with the Necron protocol. You don't make a normal move, advance, or fall back that turn. And you can count as light cover. Nope, additional +1, anything like that. Can't do any movement.
All right, so this is the one you want to bust out turn 1, right? 'Cause
If you're
you
going
haven't moved.
second. If you're going...
You have to have like spent a turn not doing anything?
Exactly.
This isn't even like if you go first.
No.
I mean, if your opponent goes first, then...
If your opponent goes first, then you can benefit from it that turn, but that means you have bottom of turn. Because if you go first, you're not ever getting it, because you're going to move your army.
This rule could be better.
But like I
what I'm gonna
said,
say.
every possible restriction, that's their army-wide ability. Don't let me get into all their other things, but this is why they need to just go back, just cut out all the exceptions and let Necrons have combos. Every other army has them. All right. Matt O's $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Matt O. Hey, Jack. New Deathwatch rules seem to bring them back to being an interesting specialist army. Any new thoughts on them after yesterday's game?
It's a very interesting army because they gave it a lot of power, but in a completely different way to how the Deathwatch used to play, which thank God for that, because what they've been doing recently is like AdMech come out. Skitarii are broken, Cult Mechanicus are whatever. All right, let's release a Skitarii supplement. Let's go.
Yeah. Not a Necron one.
Not-
the struggling army, they cannot possibly get one.
No, they could not buy one.
They need to struggle for longer.
They need to keep looking. Honestly,
Some
they're
points
too broken. Points increases, please, GW. Please, will anyone rescue us from this robot menace? This Terminator is just. Did you know how many of your models came back during that game? It felt like all of them.
To be fair, do you know how many your models didn't die and the models that came back?
All I'm saying is it felt bad. I think they're very interesting army. They're not going to be an army you're going to see a whole lot in tournaments because most people aren't going to be able to get it down. But I think the people that can really make that army sing are going to be they're going to do good work with it, I think. Because it certainly has some power to it. I felt like I wasn't really using it properly, like the turn-by-turn doctrine stuff. I was going second, so every time I picked a doctrine, it wasn't as useful because I wasn't picking the right ones, I think. So it's a very interesting army, and I think it can be very strong. And if you paint up your Deathwatch and then you find out, hey, I don't really want to play this, you can always just 5 Dreadnoughts. Let's go. Let's go! So,
Hey, if Dreadnoughts go up in cost, at least they have this backup.
yeah.
That's cool, at least. But yeah, Deathwatch have good abilities. Like 5 of
they
Binril,
really
5
do.
of Phenopain on a big brick of dudes is just annoying to get through, that you can transhuman.
I mean, this new list plays a lot more like Black Templars, where you just kind of grind your way up the field with big, beefy bricks, and you can make your sergeants really cool. Now, honestly, making your sergeants cool is very fun. Because getting them back and just watching the light go out of your opponent's eyes after they spent their whole army to try and kill one model in your army, a lot of fun. Fun plan on doing that a lot.
Yeah, the Necron versus Black Templars game was just so funny because nothing was dying, and it's just OBSEC in the middle of the table. Like, games really don't happen like that.
No,
because
they
the killing
really
power is
don't.
so. But we were just like,
We're both
hey,
bouncing.
good thing Jack didn't take no prisoners, because man,
I would have maxed that nonsense. Why is every bit in a separate place to every other
That's
bit?
what
I cannot
Why did they do
understand this.
they used to have such organized sprues.
This takes so much longer than it needs to. It's insane. So like the bit, so just for reference here, look. This is the bit I just clipped out. Right here, it's the top piece for a backpack.
Okay.
All right? That is where it was. Okay?
That's where it should be, right?
That's where it should be. This is the second one of these squad leaders that I have, the Sword Brothers that I've assembled. So I actually know where the backpack is. The backpack that goes with it is up here on the opposite corner of the sprue. Let me see if you can see that. It's up here, right there. The bit that goes with the backpack down here.
It's not generally where you want it.
The cape, that's here, but the legs that go to this guy, they are over here.
At least the kit looks awesome.
The kit does look awesome. You can get a lot of extra bits with it too, which is really nice. But man, is it hard to find some of this nonsense the first time you go through it, and even the second time, if we're being honest.
I want to see Nick build the Silent King, because honestly, I somehow did it in like an hour.
No, you think you want to watch him assemble the Silent King, but you don't want to watch him because he'll do it.
The frustration.
No, he'll just slap it together in some way
You
that
didn't
only
see
makes
him
sense to
build
him.
the Plague Burst Crawler on stream or the Battle Sanctum on stream, and both of those times he literally gave up during the stream and had Mark do it, or John.
I thought he just soldiered through and just knocked it out.
No,
and it
he
looks
actually gave
terrible.
up. The parts that he built looked terrible, but then he also gave up, and so chat was very excited about that.
Yeah, let's get him back on stream. We
Let's
always
get him
need
building
a
it.
second Silent King, right?
You definitely need a Nemesis Nick. Just following you around.
Just following you around.
$5 super chat from Matt Owick once again. Thank you so much, Matt. At least the Nightbringer caught that nerf, though. That thing was out of this world. Yes, he was.
Nightbringer caught them hands, and thank God for that.
He really needed it. That was the other one. Yep, totally. He needed to go up 20 points.
Catan broken. You can only do 3 wounds in a phase.
350 points. He needed to go 370.
It's insane. Like I'm like, oh, Catan are actually pretty good. Like you can.
They would
They're
be.
really good.
At, like,
and then I see how many
100
points they are, and it breaks my brain.
At like 100 points less, yes, they are good. But no. It's you just think of it like this. You could get 20 warriors and a character instead of a Catan. And 20 warriors are the best thing that this codex has, because almost every rule that does anything useful buffs 20 warriors.
Yeah. And there's like 5 of those.
Yes. They have like 3 different ways to get cover, and none of them got that additional +1 for whatever reason. Like every other army is getting extra pluses.
Yep.
And they're like,
Well, you're not really
this
camouflaged.
had to have been written for 8th edition. There's no other explanation for how terrible it is.
Really is sad. Anyway, you're assembling a Ghost Ark because you are.
The Ghost Ark is one of the top 5 units Necrons have.
Sure.
It is actually reasonable. Jack thought he was going to kill the Ghost Ark, and boy, did he learn about Ghost Arks.
Well, I figured I would just, take some pot shots. See
you
what
said
happened.
kill it.
I was like hopeful. I didn't want to actually kill it with my. I could have killed it with my Hellblasters maybe, but I didn't want to because then the guys would have piled out on the objective, and that would have been sad.
That's what I wanted.
I know.
I didn't need the Ghost Ark anymore.
Well, it was annoying. It got back like D6 models a turn. It needs to stop.
Well, I want that legendary time where I get the 6 back.
Yeah, thank God that kept being like a.
It was like a
2 and then a 3, and I was like, whew.
It was at most a D3 type of thing.
Yeah, and then
But
I never came close to killing the unit.
That's why.
I mean, I came close. I came close to killing one.
Yeah, and then I was like, all right, so I'm gonna pop the Res Orb here, and then add the Technomancer and the Ghost Ark, and they're back to 19.
Still got
it's a
the-
19 man unit.
Still got the dub. I did not get croned.
You don't want to get cron. The Silent King's super bad on GW terrain, but Jack and I also meme the heck out of that game.
Oh yeah, that game was fun.
We both took
game
like
was
2
wild.
terrible secondaries
Yeah,
on that particular
I mean,
matchup.
the
Code of
thing
Combat's
is,
not bad.
If
It's just-
one of us takes a terrible secondary,
yeah, Jack was like, I want to take this. I'm like, all right, I will drop to the last and take Code of Combat.
I was like, I want to call out your Silent King with a challenge with Helbrecht, And in response,
I like how the only 3 points that I got was actually killing Helbricht.
yeah,
On that. That was fair. It was fair. It was justice.
yeah, Helbrecht saw red, went in after a Scarab unit, and got traded up, shall we say?
I'm like, which Scarab unit do you want to go into? And you're like, oh, there's more than one.
I thought there were 6. I thought it was a unit of 6.
Yeah, you don't run that. That's not good. You need.
Well,
just
I thought it was, you make them OBSEC, but obviously you weren't OBSEC.
I wish they had the strat to make things OBSEC on top of the Dynasty, so you didn't have to run that Dynasty. But they don't. Yes, the Nightbringer's broken. He actually kills stuff. He is the best of the Catan, in my opinion. The problem is he's 370 points.
370, he's not even 350?
He went up. He legitimately went up 20 in that update. Necron's got points increases in the first chapter approved.
Insane.
And they did not get point decreases in the summer one.
370?
370.
That's like the price point of like an Assault Terminator unit.
Yeah, he's as many points as Gaz, but doesn't have any of the army buffing abilities. And even Gaz isn't great.
He's the same points cost as like a Plasma Scepter unit.
Yeah.
He's the same points cost as...
like 2 units of Gene Stealers. I don't know what to say. Like, you get the Hive Guard and the Prime for the same points.
Jesus.
I don't know. Just for some reason, they just didn't. Whoever play tested it was like, this could be broken, this could be broken. If they combo these 3 things, it'll be a little strong, so we probably should stop that. If we go ahead and allow them to have these particular buffs on Warriors. And then WTC, early on, put an extra layer of FAQs, and we're like, you can't stack any of the ways to bring back Warriors in this book, even though those aren't restricted.
What do you mean?
So WTC ruled you couldn't use the Ghost Arc ability on a unit and the Technomancer ability to bring back models from the same unit.
But
there's
why?
they're 2 totally separate abilities, so it totally works.
Somebody
at
ran into a
WTC
brick.
was also like, this is just Necrons are too strong, and I was like, you're wrong, and here's why. And they actually went back on that, I believe.
Okay, good.
I haven't checked the FAQ since then, but I'm pretty sure they walked back some of the nerfs they did on Necrons.
Sure, better.
I would hope.
Somebody ran into a 20-man warrior brick and was like, I just can't put it away.
Ghost Arcs are as horrible to build and pain as they are to kill. Ghost Arcs are good. If they went down like 5-10 points, amazing. One of the best units Necron has.
Which really, I mean, is just not saying much, if we're being honest with each other.
It's a solid transport. It's not broken like the Raider is. Nothing is.
Nothing. No, it's the best transport that we've ever had in 40k. I mean, you haven't played for as long. I mean, I've only...
No, honestly, there's been broken Razorbacks and Rhinos and stuff because of how cheap they were.
That's true, but like they didn't... Think about liquefiers. I'm just saying, when you have liquefiers...
Remember when you were taking
Raiders,
3 Storm Ravens? Storm Ravens are a transport.
Oh, that's not true. I mean, they are, but they aren't. Like, fine.
Jack, if the Manta wasn't 2,000 points, it would be one of the best transports in the game.
Sure.
Because it actually has a load of guns and can hold an entire army inside of it. And Manta Fund, if we get the funds for the Manta, I will totally put that in the Apocalypse game.
Make Nick build it.
No, I wouldn't make him. I want it actually looking good. But I would use it against him and disembark an entire Tau army in front of him and then table him.
Speaking of which, the whole APOC game.
Oh, we're doing it. Yep.
We're doing it. Yeah,
we're doing it.
We gotta put that on the schedule.
It's going to be a ton of fun, and that is going to be in the holidays. We did one last year. People were excited about it. We created all sorts of crazy ways to donate and get things to happen in the game. So we'll probably do something similar.
I like how Nick thought that if he made us organize it, it wouldn't happen.
Oh no, it was 100%.
He was like,
if he organizes it, wouldn't happen.
Well, yes. But he was like, I don't want to do it because he hates fun, obviously, and we love fun, so we're making him do it.
Well,
and
what he didn't like was John and I in particular came up with good lists that synergized with each other, and then we played it as competent players. And that ended up meaning the Aberrants picked up every Chaos Demon Primarch on the board, plus like a bunch of other stuff. And then the Taunar, thanks to chat, double shot every turn. And it killed a Stompa plus extra stuff. It killed Mortarion at one point, Magnus as well. It was amazing because chat just kept bringing back the Stompa and the Demon Primarchs, and we just kept laying the hammer on them. And then in his backfield, I dropped a bunch of Vespid, and John cleared a hand flamer zone, and then I dropped all the Vespid in, and it was fun. Like it was the memes, but also serious play combined, and that's why people loved it.
Yeah, I'm proposing
But
a.
if we get the Manta, I will fly that thing up, and then the next turn disembark an entire Tau army.
So, Siegs, how do you feel about an alliance?
I don't know who the alliance is. We're gonna find out. But I wouldn't be against allying the High Marahal. We'll find out.
We're gonna see. I mean, it's in your best interests. Oh no, I've lost the backpack again. Where did it go?
Oh no, it's
there. Here
it's
it
on
is.
the other sprues.
Yeah.
How many points would Paragons need to be viable? They look awesome. They need to be
50 for the heavy bolter.
at least 20 points cheaper.
Yeah, 50 for the heavy bolter, 60 for the multi-melta, or 55 for the multi-melta, and I'd be very happy. 55 for the multi-melta might be a little too good, to be honest with you.
Just think about it. If you drop them down, what are they, 75 points, 80 points?
They're 70, no, they're 80,
They're 80.
and they're 90 with a
Yeah.
multi-melta.
If you drop them down 20 points, then they're in the Necron Destroyer range, and then the Plasma Scepter range. It's reasonable to be in Plasma Scepter range. Then if you drop the Necrons down, those Destroyers, drop them down to like 40 points, then you're in a more reasonable
I
area.
hope he was talking about Necron 6.
Well, there's a bunch of questions. I wanted to bring it up.
I think 50 for the heavy bolter variant would be good. Or what they could do, which they won't do, but they could do, is they could make their little missile doohickey thing. Instead of garbage, they could make it the same as Vol's missile launcher. And then I'd be a lot more enthusiastic about playing them because they'd be like an actually like long-ranged threat. As it is, it's like 2 shots at strength 6, AP 2 damage or something at like 24
Just
inches.
not particularly good.
I just don't care. Like, I just don't care.
I played against them at Las Vegas teams. Jesse Sell was playing them, and he popped them out at one point. They basically did no damage, and then I killed them all.
Mm-hmm.
In a single go.
No, I think if you spent
It's
180...
they're 4 wounds. What?
Yeah, they're -1 damage, but they're 4 wounds. They die to, like, everything.
Yeah. They have 2 of them. Like, their stats aren't horrific. They're just too expensive for the context of the game. But there's just a lot of stuff like that. Which is why they should just do a quick pass of everything, drop all that stuff that you never see down a couple points, done.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, that's what Chapter Proof is. But then
Theoretically,
Necron's points increases.
Instead, during the summer, they did, like, nothing. They were like, here's a couple units. Everything else just stays the same.
By the way, I'm just
Can we put a modicum of effort, please, into your game? Like, seriously. Seriously. A modicum of effort, Jack.
You get Seeks talking about Necrons for long enough. And
Not Necrons, just the game. Literally, Jack and I could sit here right now in the Hangout and Hobby and just rebalance things. We just go through every single point. Here's boom, 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 done.
Yeah.
Chapter proof, done.
Yep.
Electronically upload it to the interwebs, done.
All finished.
With the release of new NID rules, how are they affecting your AdMech list? Highguard are really good. So you either want to run the flyers still, or this is just more encouragement of running the flyers. That's great. And then transports is the other thing that you would want to run.
Yep. Very excited to not see any kind of flyer nerf or any kind of buggy nerf or any kind of...
I think the time of I just have a bunch of rangers and I'm going to shoot you off the table is done if there's any sort of terrain, because with blips you can block the flyers early, and then with those things double shooting with reroll damage, they'll pick up what they need to and then just cripple your army. So that's why you're going to want the veteran cohort now. With access to advance and charge, Metallica feels really great into NIDS with that flat 6 advance. Mm-hmm. You might even add get an extra character like I had originally run, and instead of taking Janitors, you take Magi and go ahead and do the +2 to advances. So now with Metallica...
Have I ever told you how much I hate AdMech?
Yeah, well...
Okay.
You can just re-roll it with Eyes of the Omnissiah and get the +2 instead of having to spend the CP. Or with Mars, which is still very good, you could roll an additional die and then re-roll the whole thing with Eyes of the Omnissiah and add +2 to it. So on average, you're getting like a 6, 7, 8-inch advance. And that makes Rustalkers with +3-inch moving 19 inches across the board, then charging. That's really... NIDS will run out of screening units. So...
You'll love to see it.
Yeah, that's where... Metallica or Mars are still going to be very good. Depends on what the terrain situation's like, honestly.
Yeah.
Also, running more infiltrators is just good. Tyranids don't want any of that.
I mean, the plus side is if you run it and the terrain isn't good at all, then you just table them.
Exactly. Nids didn't get a ton of extra defense.
No, they got zero.
Warriors
defense.
are fine, but they're not doing very much damage. And so if you're not doing damage against AdMech, they just prioritize other stuff.
Yeah.
And then they hit you with the Ruststalkers, and the Ruststalkers will kill them, no
The
problem.
Ruststalkers will run through unit of warriors like they weren't, like they never existed.
It's like, oh, you ignore AP 1 and 2, dead. Just get out of here. So I don't think it's that much of a problem. Nids are definitely strong now, so
Yeah,
Hive Guard are a concern.
They have a lot
Hive Guard
of
are the main
front-loaded
concern.
damage. Yes.
Without Hive Guard, I really don't care about that army.
Genestealers are also pretty annoying because they'll just.
I'll trade for one unit, maybe.
I mean, they have a.
AdMech
big
have
footprint.
great screens, and this is why I'm saying Infiltrators are amazing now, because they stop the rerolls on the Genestealers.
I mean, just weight of attacks. Plus
But I'm
one to
sa-
hit, so they hit on 2s.
if they kill the Infiltrators, it's fine.
Tesla 6s.
It's roughly an equivalent trade. But you force them to put every buff on there, and Chapter Master won't matter, so they're not fishing for all those extra 6s because they can't reroll against you.
They will pick up those infiltrators like there's no tomorrow.
Cool.
They have
One
like
for one trade.
100 attacks.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade is still amazing, though.
All right. I mean, I don't think AdMech are going to.
Just remember, if it's your front layer of your screen, you can go ahead and ignore AP 1 and 2 +1 save on them. So, I think Infiltrators, Ruststalkers is still going to be ace against Tyranids.
Yes, I think Nids are going to have some real problems with AdMech.
That's
I'm not
probably
disagreeing
their
with that at
hardest
all.
matchup. The Nids mirror matchup
Okay.
is actually weird.
All right.
It's
so
really, really strange.
just cycling back to the sprue, right?
Cycle back.
Cycle back. Here are all the bits, right? Here are all the bits for the Sword Brother, like special upgrade, right? Here's all of like his cape, his cool weapon, everything.
Yep.
Here's his legs, so it's in a completely different quadrant,
As it should be.
as it should be. And then his shoulder pads, which are only for him, because they're special, are all the way in the opposite corner. They're over here. Now here's the thing, right? So that's where all of his special stuff is. Right up here, right there, that is where the shoulder pad is. I know what you're saying. That is one shoulder pad. That's right. Because you have to get the shoulder pad off both sprues, which are identical. There's only one on each sprue.
Where's
So obnoxious. It's insane.
Where's the high Marahal on the spruce?
Just can't. I can't do it, Seeks.
Good evening, gentlemen. If you were to slowly start a Tau army and prep for their next codex, what models would you start buying and painting? It's hard to say because Tau need an entire redesign, and frankly, who knows where they're gonna head.
I don't know.
I would imagine Riptides and drones are the two things to get hit the hardest in terms of they might still be good, they'll just be very different in their function. Like 3-up Involt's almost certainly gone. They might even lose the Fire and Fade, in which case, wow, I really don't like Riptides. Maybe they'll come down in cost.
I don't know what the codex is going to look like.
Have no idea, but honestly, drones and Riptides were the best thing, followed by with commanders as well. Those are the top 3 Tau units. So anything outside of that could potentially become good. I'd be thinking about things like Ghost Keels, which have been absolutely terrible. I went ahead and painted one, like 6 months ago, but I have 2 more that are sitting on a shelf in case they get good. Stealth suits, they are bound to get new rules. Like we've seen a lot of infiltrating units get an additional layer of rules. It'd be amazing if stealth suits could turn off rerolls or do some other shenanigans.
You would think.
I hope crisis suits still are good because they're only good with Farsight enclaves. And if those rules disappear, then I'm really worried about crisis suits. But we'll see.
Okay, we'll see what the book looks like.
It's going to be hard for them to make vehicles good, honestly. Vehicles, they're definitely not going to receive core, and based on the other books that we've seen. And based on that, they'd also have 0 defense. So there's tons of high AP multi-damaged weapons in the game. I would still stay away from vehicles and try and go for infantry and battlesuit units and start from there.
Yeah.
That's your safest bet.
Now, I mean, as you said, like they could do anything with the book, so who
Absolutely.
knows?
Kroot could become amazing. But
Kroot could be the way.
I just doubt it. With
Kroot Hounds, Krootox, Kroot Gunner, whatever.
the
thing.
Krootoxes.
The Krootoxes. Maybe they have some sort of Krootoxin, and they shoot you with it, and it's poison 2+. Like, you never know. You never know with these books. Maybe Onshi becomes the close combat terror that he...
Farsight could. Maybe the 8 becomes silly broken. They just drop it like 600 points, and it's actually just a bunch of commanders for really cheap with drones. That would be...
Maybe.
But getting that thing WYSIWYG is just a pain, and I don't even have that WYSIWYG.
Do you remember what all the different loadouts are?
No.
Of course.
I know they're mostly trash.
Yes. It's like one flamer and one plasma rifle. Like,
Yeah,
what's going
one
on
guy
there?
has like a single cyclic ion. There's a guy with like double flamer, and each of them has one war gear piece.
They obviously didn't get the memo about what's good in Warhammer, which is specializing.
I'm surprised they put that much effort into it to begin with. They could have just not done any of that.
Well, they did it, and then I don't know if you were there for what's the guy's name? The big Riptide character guy?
Ovesa?
Ovesa. Oh yeah, I don't know if you were there for Ovesa Star.
No.
You were not.
I didn't play anything in 7th.
Got it. Well, Ovesa Star was a unit you could make where you would take a Riptide, a regular Riptide, all right? Because it had this was such a silly rules interaction. Because it had the option to take drones, you could attach characters to it. Because attaching characters to units used to be a thing in 6th and 7th and before.
I remember earlier.
Right. So you would take a single Riptide, then you would attach Ovesa, because Ovesa was a character. You would attach Ovesa to the unit. So now you have a unit of 2 Riptides. And you would then attach another character to it, I believe Farsight or another buff commander, who would just give them buffs all game, reroll hits and wounds and everything. And then, just in case that wasn't enough, you would, because you could do this, attach an Eldar Farseer to the unit as well.
Get some protection.
And suddenly you can't kill the unit. It's rerolling all hits and wounds, and it's 2 Riptides stapled together.
That's what I want. No, that's not what I want. I like Tau's MSU style, so hopefully they push that. Find another super chat from Mr. Tim Pinney. Brother, I think the game is going to have a problem with AdMech. AdMech only had a 48 win percentage at New Orleans, Jack, and that was with me going 8-0. Okay?
Siegs?
The average AdMech player is just
Siegs, I'm gonna need you to stop.
not quite
I need you to stop.
as able to bring this faction to the heights that I am. Mm-hmm. You know, it's me, basically Manny.
Good, you deserve that.
Manny Chima, Malik. Like, without us, where is AdMech? Probably middle of the road faction, right, Jack?
You done? You finished? Are you done right now?
I mean,
AdMech are the best army in the game. What's wrong with you?
I just don't see it. When you see an average player pick up Drukhari in their first GT and get to the finals and almost beat Lenin, that's a different army. Nobody picks up AdMech and just wins.
You done?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the truth. Are you disagreeing?
Yes.
You think AdMech is easier to play than Drukhari?
When some guy mid tables picks up AdMech, you can beat them. It's not that hard. When you're playing AdMech, you win both GW. When you have AdMech in your pocket, Siegs, what you do is you say, why would I need to go to more than 6 events in a year? That is the kind of confidence that you have in AdMech, so don't come at me with that. You've literally said, I have all 6 of my events planned out for the year. I don't need to go more than that because ITC only tracks 6. So
Chapter Proof's going to come out before LVO. I'm going to have to play something different.
All of this trolling going on right over here, whatever. It's fine. It's fine, Siegs. It's all fine.
I mean,
you made me lose track of where I am in this thing.
The numbers just don't line up. All this crying about AdMech.
Uh-huh.
All these talented players winning tournaments with AdMech. It's such a shame. It's so easy to troll. You'll have to see it. What else we got here? Tau 4,000 point meta. The Tau 4,000 point meta. Tau is one of those armies that just gets better the more points you put on the board.
Why is that?
It's because all of their rules are pretty terrible. So you need you need to be able to
That
take
critical mass of characters.
You need to be able to take a handful of just really strong units and spam them. And that's what Tau is as an army. It's not a balanced army whatsoever. We got Nurgle.
Tower unbalanced, Richard Siegler.
Yeah, unbalanced in the fact that most of their choices are terrible, and you have no idea what they. Yeah, do you know what the Tau flyers do, Jack? And there's like 7 different Tau flyers.
I know one of them drops like ion bombs on you that don't do anything.
Yeah, it's
and
real
has
bad.
also no guns at the same time.
Once per game.
Well, once per game. It doesn't have a strat to like reload it or something?
No.
I thought it did.
No.
Okay. That would be broken.
$17.77 from Nurgle Matt, champion of the stream. Thank you so much, Nurgle Matt. Love you, bud. Please excuse the confusion. Totally thought you may have a spare set sitting in a drawer somewhere. All good. Pick up my set eventually. Come on, Nurgle Matt. I am working on it. We're going to get you those Golden Samurai objective mats. Don't you worry. We're going to find more. $5 super chat from Matt. Oh, thank you, Matt. Is it weird to think Death Guard might be underrated? They should match up okay into Admech, Bugs, and Drukhari. They are terrible into Admech.
They are one of the worst. One of the easiest matchups for Admech is Death Guard.
If you go back to the original game where I just fresh look at the new Admech Codex, like, hey, I'll throw this together and see how it goes.
And
just
you
tabled
dumpstered
Nick.
Nick.
Not even close. He had no way. It didn't matter what units he put in his list. It's just not going to work.
Death Guard don't have great shooting, right?
Yep.
And Admech, they're not fast, so Admech just pour fire into them all game. And that army, A, is a lot of damage one, so I don't even care about how tough you are.
The Mortals, Jack.
The Mortals is just like, hey, one CP, pick up 2 Terminators.
Because it's great. You put your character out there, you bodyguard him behind terrain with the Death Shroud Terminators. Well, great. If I have a bomber, I'm just going to turn that off, and he's dead. Hope you put another character out the next turn.
It'd be a shame if there was absolutely nothing you could do about any of this.
And then, if you don't have the bombers, it's totally fine. Just run a break of 10 Ruststalkers, you charge in there, they have the Foul Blight spawn, awesome. Fight last on them. Just make sure you stay out of their fight last. It doesn't matter if you count as not charging. It's great. Boom. Go ahead and put 2+ attacks on there, do your Mortals on the 6s to wound, and just obliterate all of the Death Guard.
Or don't. Or you can just
+1
stay back
strength
and
too,
just
if you need
keep shooting them until they're all dead.
Yep.
And then that's it.
They're going to run out of stuff real quick.
Real fast.
Death Guard have a horrendous matchup into Admech. Bugs, the Foul Blight spawn is pretty clutch. Plague Burst Crawlers to be able to interact with the stuff in their backfield, not terrible. They could probably have a reasonable... The problem
they could do good into Bugs.
is Nids have the advantage of being able to choose the engagements, and they have easy access to OBSEC. And Death Guard OBSEC is pretty terrible. Either it just dies because it's Poxwalkers, or it
you have to pay
it's
for
Plague Marines, and
you
it's
have to pay
pretty
for Plague
pricey.
Marines. I mean, Admech can... not Admech. Admech can obviously do well into Bugs. Admech's broken. But...
only in my skilled hands, Jack.
What was I saying? Death Guard could actually do well into Bugs. It could. Because you can bounce a lot of the Hive Guard. Like, Hive Guard don't do very much to Terminators at all. They do a little.
Reroll damage helps.
It does. It really does.
It helps in a big way.
But I think half the people are
It's
going to be
not
taking, like, reroll 1s and 2s to wound, which also isn't good into you. And what was I saying? I don't know. I think, they get to choose the engagements. It's the reason why everyone says Blood Angels are hard countered by Death Guard, but I think it doesn't go that way. I think I think Blood Angels are favored. You're just so much faster that you can avoid their Death Ball, and you can take
as soon as they
every
split
other
up, it's
objectives.
like awesome.
Yeah. Or if they don't split up, you're also like awesome. That's the two ways that game can go. You spread out to every objective that they don't have their Death Ball on, and then they can either sit there and you both agree that you win the game, or they can move out and you can, like, they split up and they move out to do stuff, and then you kill them. And that's just how life is. So I think Bugs, I don't know. I mean, it could go Death Guard's way. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have a lot of anti-infantry, a lot of flamers, and nonsense like that.
Yeah, maybe if you really rely on the flamers, that actually is a big deal.
Somewhere Nick is very excited because he heard the words Death Guard and flamers in the same sentence together.
Maybe he could run the fort too.
Maybe. Into Drukhari, they actually do have a much better matchup than a lot of the other armies that their tier have into Drukhari. I know that it depends on the mission for all of these, because how much the opponent has to come to you depends on the mission. And if the Nids and the Drukhari and even the Admech, Jesus, never need to come to the Death Guard, the Death Guard are not having a fun time.
Yeah, they need charges to help with their speed, their lack of speed.
But both Nick and John had really tough games into Death Guard at I want to say Clutch City.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier events.
Or maybe the Dallas Open. Dallas Open. I don't remember exactly. I think it might have been Clutch City. Anyway, they had a really tough game into the same Death Guard guy, and they were both playing
broken Drukhari.
Broken Drukhari. Like, Drukhari's good now, but my God, was it broken then.
So that one's possible. Admech is by far the toughest matchup for Death Death Guard.
But Death Guard just gets slaughtered. It's just Charge of the Light Brigade. Like, you just ride right into the guns, and the guns...
You don't even look cool, though.
No, you don't even ride. You, like, shuffle.
All right. $5 super chat from Tim. Not everyone can handle a finesse army like buggies. Yeah, buggies.
Buggies. I was so disappointed with you, Tim, when you started... No, not when you went monkey-brained and took the Orc army. That I'm proud of you for. But in your last game, when you were like, I just want to win this game, and you actually started using tactics and move blocks and like figuring out how many objectives you needed to hold, that
It's not
was
the
a
Orc way.
disappointment. That was a brutal disappointment, and we'll see if I can forgive you for that.
But I am glad to see more people playing this Orc list because we need it to be on their radar.
See, what you said about AdMech made me mad. This makes me violent.
Okay, but I'm not tabling you in your deployment zone.
Right. As I said, we don't need to see more orcs. No, please. Orc buggies need to go into the trash can, and orc infantry...
Not all of them. Specifically the
You know
squig
what?
buggy.
No, they've had their chance. Get out of here.
The squig buggy and the planes.
Squig buggies in the planes.
Or just change speed wall.
Yes, and. But I'm saying the rest of the Orc Codex, they need to get a facelift.
Yeah, you nerf something, you buff all the stuff that's terrible, and orcs have a bunch of terrible stuff.
I'm more than happy to play into a good
I want a big boys army to be an option.
army full of big boys.
Big boys.
Big boys. So, yeah, I mean, that would be nice. I'm not advocating for the book to be crap. I'm just advocating for it to not be.
They already have terrible stratagems, and that doesn't help. But they got some really good data sheets. Nurgle with a $7.77 super chat. You're the sweetest. See you when I see you. Only a matter of time. Come on down to Austin, or if you're going to go to LVO, I will definitely see you at those. So hope to see you there, Nurgle. £5 super chat from King Hef. If Craftworlds came out with good rules like AdMech, would you play them? If those rules buffed the Iyanden playstyle, the Wraith constructs, or if it buffed the Aspect Warriors, not that you just spam a couple of them, like Shining Spears and whatever else, Dark Reapers. If it buffed where you took one of each...
You weren't here for Warp Spiders, my guy. Warp Spiders were everywhere. Everyone had like 9 units of Warp Spiders because there was not rule of 3.
Yeah.
It was not okay.
So if they come up with a way that there's a really strong construct style or a really strong aspect host where you're really only running one of each unit, so it's a nice mix of all of them, and there's reasons to run Fire Dragons and Striking Scorpions, that's when I would actually try it. But if it's just spamming Shining Spears and Dark Reapers, no. I have no interest in it.
Yeah, let me complain about Warp Spiders for a second because I hated them with a passion of 1,000 suns when they were out. I hated them so much. Warp Spiders used to be really, really, really good in 6th and 7th. They used to have a special rule. Like, they shot you pretty decently and they could come out of Deep Strike. But they used to have a special rule where when you shot at them, they moved 2d6 inches. And then you resolved your shooting attack against them. And if they were out of line of sight when you tried to resolve your shooting attack, guess what happened? You lost it. So they would span the board with like 9 of them, all of them functionally unkillable to shooting because, and there was no limiter to this, by the way. So they could go 2d6, and then 2d6, and then 2d6, and then 2d6, and then 2d6. So if they were near a wall, unkillable because they would go through the wall. Anything on the other side would then see them, shoot them. They go back through the wall, rinse and repeat until your entire shooting phase has killed 0 models, and then they would table you. I hated them so much. I played the formation with the Screamer Star, or formation of Screamers with the Screamer Star, where all you did was just fly over them, which weren't shooting attacks, and you just pick them all up. I actually got to play that matchup, and I have never been happier in my life.
I mean, everything I hear about 7th, I'm just glad I didn't play it. I wasn't playing competitively at all. It just sounds like a chore to play. Like player skill, it's just all on your list design and like rock, paper, scissors.
No, there was a lot of player skill for a lot of 7th.
My 2-up rerollables was very player skill.
You don't understand. A lot of the units in early 7th.
Early 7th, but as soon as the edition, people got books.
Mid to late 7th, there was a lot less. Although you just learn how to play objectives. Like I can't kill my opponent, so I have to just play for objectives.
I don't know. Having every army have some unkillable mechanic is just silly.
I don't know. It keeps your armies from existing, which is just. What if I divide points by guns and then I table my opponent?
I find the trading style to be the most interesting style that 40k has.
Yeah,
It's about small trades all over the place.
You have the most efficient trading.
Not simply playing AdMech. Any army that I play, my Tau army is all about small trades. The Farsight style. So I just find that more interesting than
it was very position
unkillable
dependent.
versus just tabling people.
Yeah, well, the tabling people armies were not good because you run into a Death Star and then you lose.
Yeah.
And thank God for that. Like, we need more of that in 40k, which is just if you run an all guns army, you just lose. You just lose. And currently, that is not the case. That's my most unpopular opinion. Is I want like tame Death Stars back in the game,
Tame Death Stars.
like early 7th level.
This is an oxymoron.
As I said, it's my most unpopular opinion. I'm not on the GW rules design team, so this does not affect anything.
If you were, the High Mara Halls would be showing up in that codex.
They would. They sure would. I'm just saying you wouldn't be able to divide points by guns anymore. We'd be over that nonsense. You can't just be like, oh, 50 indirect shots, 50 indirect buggies will solve every matchup, and then you just win without even, without any...
That's their biggest problem, is they just do not understand. They kind of got it at the end of 8th, I thought. They were like, okay, planes indirect, people don't like that. It just takes a lot of the skill out, makes terrain irrelevant.
Feels bad because you just go first win, go second lose.
We'll tone it down. We toned down the Iron Hands. They then just nerfed Thunderfires out of existence. They nerfed the Scorpius in the Forge World update.
It was like, fine, good.
They nerfed the AdMech Scorpius. And you're like, okay, this is actually getting pretty reasonable. The Plague Burst Crawler wasn't obscene. Cool. And then they were like...
Squig
Buggies.
Right.
Wazboom Jets.
Yep.
Stratoraptors.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, why don't we just throw in Hive Guard with reroll damage, Chapter Master, +1 to hit, potentially rerolling 1s and 2s to wounds.
You can't get all of that on the same unit.
No, but you can choose.
On 3 separate units.
You can get it on 3 separate units, and then, of course, they still have double shooting.
Yes.
So enjoy that.
If they didn't have double shooting, I'd be fine.
Oh, don't forget the extra AP on 6s.
I wouldn't dare.
AP3 Ignore Cover is a very good profile, Jack.
It's pretty solid. One could say they're shooting last cannons at you.
For whatever reason, they just didn't get the memo about indirect fire. Really? We just didn't nail it hard enough in 8th edition, so now we have to do it again.
I don't know, my guy. It's so not fun to play against.
It's just tiring.
You can beat it, you can, but you can also just lose to it. And it's not fun. It's just not fun.
Nathan Moore with a $5 super chat. Watching Siegs try to keep a straight face, calling AdMech mid-tier is always great. I've learned a lot watching your videos. Thanks so much. Appreciate your super chat. Thanks so much, Nathan. To be clear, they are not mid-tier. They are an A-tier to S-tier army. In the hands of myself, absolutely S-tier.
I don't know how much you believe the nonsense you are spewing in my direction.
In my hands, 100% S-tier army. In the hands of a mere mortal, Jack, though, their win rate is not good if you take out the top players.
Yeah,
but AdMech win rate drops precipitously.
I'm not worried about mid-table AdMech. I'm worried about you just effortlessly clowning me because you have a book that does everything.
Is it the book or is it me?
It's the book.
It's the book.
It's the book.
Okay. If nobody else is doing it, at a certain point, it's me. £2 super chat from King Hef. Thanks so much, King
That book
Hef.
has everything in it, Siegs. It has every
Just because
single
it has
thing
everything
you
doesn't
would
make it
possibly
broken.
need to be broken in 40k, and then it has it 2 more times, so you can just take everything 3 times, and the army does everything, and it shuts down everything, and it shoots harder than any other army, and it fights harder than every other army, and it can also be more durable than every other army. What are you talking about? All right, let's get on to the super chat.
It's a good book, Jack. It's a good book. It's just brought up by these top tier players. Bring back virus bombs from Rogue Trader. Absolutely. Let's get more nonsense in the game. Let's bring back formations, right?
Yeah, bring back my Seer Council formation that lets me actually play that army. It would still get annihilated by every good army in the game now because the damage has spiked. But
I've done enough. I placed top 4 in Broken Drukhari meta with Tau. That's enough. 8th edition, won almost every major event with Tau, when nobody considered them good until I started winning with them.
yeah, been doing that with Blood Angels.
So
After you've given up on Blood Angels.
I just don't like their mono dimension. I wish they had more styles in there. Like, there's only so many times I can ram Sanguinary Guard into somebody and be like, okay.
I don't know, man. It's very satisfying.
It is satisfying. It's especially against Nick, who just doesn't respect it. But
No, I hit 2 Dread Knights with the 1 unit of Sanguinary Guard with every buff up. Reroll hits, +1 to wound, +1 attack, everything. They're hitting on 2s. And he thought I bit off more than I could chew. He was like, you're gonna have to kill both of them. And
he doesn't have -1 damage.
No, he does not. I fully killed one, and I dropped the non-Grandmaster to 3. And he was like, we have a game now again.
Yeah, I would try not to let Sanguinary Guard hit 2 of my...
Yeah, 1 unit. We call that a trade-up.
I will let one of them hit one of mine, and I will get the trade-up. But Nick likes his risks.
No, it was a good game.
Why did he have 2 next to each other?
Because he was getting an angle.
No, he wanted. What did he shoot at?
He was trying to kill my... So first turn, he warped a Dread Knight over and failed gate to get a second one over behind my lines to punish the fact that I was a little heavily deployed on one side rather than the other. So he was looking to pick up the Sangard that were on one side and leave it so I couldn't answer 2 Dread Knights on the side. He failed gate. And
Not how you want it.
Not how you want it. Also, I think it would have been okay-ish, but I don't know. We didn't live in that reality. So then what happened was the 3 Sangard that lived through that got rezzed up to 4, hit his Grandmaster, and a 5-man squad of Van Vets hit his Grandmaster, and Chaplain hit his Grandmaster and didn't kill it.
This is the 3-up emblem guy?
It was. Put it 1 wound.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was bad. So he gated the heck out of there because he was literally touching my corner. So he had to gate or else he couldn't leave. He could have tried a desperate breakout, but he had to do that before.
He could spend the 2 CP to teleport him.
No, he spent the 2 CP to put it in there because he was going to gate a guy next to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because you can't do that twice.
No.
So what then happened was he had to shove one of his Grandmasters up just to get him out of there, just to gate him out. And then he shoved another Dread Knight up so he could kill all the stuff that had hit the Grandmaster. And he was also trying to get greedy and go in and kill my Chaplain as well, because he hates that guy.
Just why?
Because the Chaplain eventually ended up taking over the entire flank by himself. That Chaplain is a beast. So that's why both of them were there, to get an angle around something so they could see in and rescue the Dread Knight that was wrapped. Anyway, point is, then a 7-man squad of Sangard hit both of them. And you do love to see it. You do really love to see it.
That's value.
That is trading up.
What did the Death Company do?
The Death Company, turn 1, picked up a squad of Interceptors, gave him a 5, and made him split where he wanted to go. Because he wanted to maneuver down so he could shoot my Sangard and Van Vets and everything. But he also wanted to get around the corner and shoot my Death Company. And he came about a quarter of an inch away from just losing the game on the spot. Because he moved a squad of Interceptors over and a Dread Knight. Dread Knight moving over could only see the tip of one guy's chainsword. And so he goes to Psychic Phase. He's doing a Psychic Phase.
Yeah, they're gonna smite him away.
And he picked up the dice to smite that unit from the Dread Knight. And he was so close to rolling the dice that I actually I knew what spell he was about to roll. Because he was so close. He was had selected the Dread Knight. I think he even said the words I'm gonna go to this Dread Knight and smite. And then he was like, wait a second, if I kill this single Death Company with a chainsword, this 4-man squad of Death Company is free to run around my deployment zone, giving me another 5, picking up a Dread Knight, just all kinds of bad nonsense. And he had a squad of Interceptors there with halberds, but that's not... Giving me 5-ups and then 5-up Feel No Pains on 2 damage is just not where you want to be. On 2 wound models with 5-up Feel No Pain and a 5-up save against the halberds, you just do not want that. At all.
Well, it's because he never switches to conversions.
He was in conversions.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was in conversions.
Okay. I mean, extra mortals do add up.
Yeah, but I mean, he was like a quarter of a second away from rolling slightly below average.
Also,
and
I would
losing
just
the game.
shoot. I would shoot and scoot them too, and do the extra AP auto wound on 6s, in case that failed. But you don't want to have to do that.
Yeah. No. That was very close to him just losing the game on the spot.
We do have a great sense of humor.
Yeah. Imagine this joke material. Admech not broken. Jesus Christ. Imagine if Admech were only good because
I'm
I'm
not
good.
saying it's not broken. I'm saying it requires player skill.
Sure, it requires player skill. That's not what you've been saying.
That's 100% what I've been saying.
No, you said it's not the book, it's me.
I mean, is it?
No, we're not doing this anymore. I'm taking your
It's just
clue.
too
Give me
easy.
your clue.
It's just too easy.
I'm mad, Mr. Siegs.
Why did they do such a little neck piece here?
Yeah, you're running headfirst into the fact that all you guys are very narrow.
Yeah. This guy commands from the barge. But it's not a command barge.
But he is commanding from the barge.
He is commanding from the barge.
Wouldn't that make it a command barge? Wouldn't you think?
That'd be awesome. Put a lord on a ghost arc. Charge that bad boy in.
So if you can have a command rhino,
Well, I was looking at the Necron Codex and I was like, all right, Scorpack Lord. Let's do it.
and he's not noble, so you don't get your army-wide ability's trash. Why do you care about it?
No,
Garbage.
I'm saying if I drop the Lord himself,
Right.
I go for him. Now, the Lord is the only way to get the Res Orb, and the Res Orb is pretty good. But it's 30 points. But it's still pretty good.
It still is pretty good. It broke my soul when you whipped it out.
Yeah. When you whip out a Res Orb, and there's like a 2-man unit, and you get half the unit back, and then you use the Ghost Arc and the Technomancer abilities, it feels really good.
It did not feel good to me.
So I like having that combo. But the Scorpack Lord could be -1 to wounds. He's T6, 6 wounds, 4 up invuln. I really wish he was a noble, because then you could give him the +1 toughness and +1 wound relic. But you can't. And
Why is that restricted to nobles?
yeah, I would hate to know the answer why.
I saw how cool the Scorpack Lord was before
He is cool.
because I was in New Jersey because of quarantines and stuff, and nobody was playing 40K at all. And I played a little bit right at the end of 8th on TTS, and it was awful. It was the worst experience 40K of my life because it just dragged. So anyway, I didn't really know 9th at all. But I was like, hey, maybe I'll play Necrons. Thank God I didn't follow through on that.
You could have have a huge Thousand Suns army at this time too.
I could. Warpfire comes through yet again.
Warfire was like, we don't just have the models just yet, but
Yeah, I was
we
like,
could.
Siegs, order me
A lot of
a
stuff.
lot of models, a lot of Thousand Suns models through Warpfire. Because I played one game with them and I went off, and Nick was very sad about what happened in that game. And Siegs gets back to me a couple days later and was like, they actually don't have them. I was like, no, I'll have to buy them through like local game stores and stuff and try and piece them together. This sucks. And then 2 days later, I was like, yeah, no thanks. Actually, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want them.
Thank you, Warfire.
Thanks, Warfire.
Saved us. They knew.
But what am I saying? I am saying that I was going to get into. I got the Indomitus box with the Space Marines and the Necron guys, and I was like, sick. Now I'll have some Necron guys. Oh my god, look how cool the Scorpack Lord looks. He
does look cool.
He looks awesome.
He can go in the Ghost Arc because he's an infantry character.
Incredible. He's so cool. He's big. He's got snippety claws. He's gonna snippety you. It's gonna be amazing.
He's got a little gun.
And then I looked at his profile, and he is not that great in combat.
He's not that great.
No.
But if you could give him that T7, 7 wounds with a -1 to wound strat, 4 up invuln, he's actually pretty tanky.
He is pretty tanky. He's just not that good in combat, unfortunately.
No.
He's kind of bad at it, which is a little.
But he's one of
odd
the best Necron
for-
characters in combat.
Yeah. I remember. You probably don't, but because you weren't playing. But Mind Shackle Scarabs. Do you still have Mind Shackle Scarabs?
No.
Mind Shackle Scarabs. used to be
There's some sort of
so
scarab. There's cortical scarabs.
good.
That's an upgrade.
They used to be so good, you would take them. And what would happen is, when you fight against a character, you would roll 3d6. And if you roll higher than your opponent's leadership, or maybe equal to it, I don't remember. If you roll higher than your opponent's leadership, their character didn't fight you. They fought themselves. They literally directed all of their attacks directly at themselves. And then you could fight them with your war scythe, which is actually like pretty good in combat at the time. So that, I charged a Khorne Lord on Juggernaut with the Axe of Blinding Fury into one of these jerks, and let's just put it this way: he did not suffer any attacks. My model killed myself, and that was just how it went. He just killed himself. Mind Shackle Scarabs. Look into it. Yeah. Mind Shackle Scarabs were so cool, but unfortunately, you just don't got it no more.
No, they did want to make sure nothing could be that powerful for Necrons. Alright. I have to fit the dude in here. There he goes. He's in his chair. He's in the chair, Jack.
He's in the chair. The chair's been achieved. He's a pretty good gaming chair. That's why they're so good.
I mean, I get why it's in the lore they're not nobles, but this is a game at the same time, and let's try and do something.
Let's balance them a little, please.
Let's either they need to be ridiculously cheap, or just
don't make them, or have them have a separate keyword that also
just
works.
have it lord. Any lord keyword can get the command. Well, really, the command protocols you should just have, and you get all of them and make them better.
Please,
all of them.
Yeah, in order to have a minimal effect, you need to plan it out with, kind of a chess master level of planning.
And then they're not even that good.
And the thing is, against good players, like, they're just going to exploit the fact that you don't have these army-wide rules all game. Like,
yep. Even if it was once per game, you can get that particular buff, like Admech. Well, before the Canic Thrallnet. But
yeah, oh, right. Speaking of an army-wide rule that doesn't...
If the Necrons had the Canic Thrallnet, it still wouldn't be good.
You have to cycle through each one? Wow, that's really interesting. You got to pick the right one for the right... Never mind.
But
we
seriously,
can just do every single one every turn if we want. It's fine.
If you went ahead and swapped Doctrinas with the Necron command protocols, Necron's looking pretty decent. That'd be a huge buff. And then, of course, you give them the Canic Thrallnet. Warriors with +1 save turn after turn. Maybe throw some ignore AP 1 and 2 on there. That would be sweet. That would
actually be really good.
That would be a unit. That would be good. Necrons would be boosted significantly.
It would be really, really good.
It's a big fight for rubbish buffs. You're 100% right. It's like, I go back and look at them, and every time I'm like, why are they so restrictive and bad? Like, why are you only getting one of these bad buffs? I don't know.
That's kind of how I feel about the Black Templar vows, but they have other stuff to make.
5-up Invuln and only wounded on...
I want cover, Siegs. I want cover.
I will take what you have.
Over Necrons? Yeah, no, you can keep
I will
Necrons.
take vows. You can have the whatever you want, the command protocols.
I do not want the command protocols.
Well, you're going to have them because I'm sending an email to Games Workshop saying we should trade right now.
No, I think Black Templars have other stuff. The 5-up Invuln has proven to be pretty good, though.
It's very good. Like army-wide 5-up, oh, that'd be amazing on Necrons.
Yes, it would. Stop saying...
Really, anything would be?
Really, anything would be. We're not looking at a choosy man over here. Because he's quite literally begging.
Just anything, please. A strat that lets you reanimation a completely dead unit would be cool. They'd almost certainly make you pay reinforcement points for it.
They certainly would.
Like the Tyranids one.
Yeah. Although, we saw... what is it? You get units back now fine either way, so it's... whatever. I don't know. You don't pay reinforcement. Thank God you don't pay reinforcement points for reanimation.
Oh, I mean, the army wouldn't exist because everybody would have just laughed at the book and thrown it straight in the trash can. If that reanimation is the only thing that's actually strong, and it's only strong on warriors. It's pretty garbage on everything else.
Necrons were really good for a time, right?
In 9th edition?
Yeah.
No.
Never?
Really good? No. They could put up a fight against Space Marines with particular build. And then Space Marines got extra rules, and they were like, okay, not anymore. As soon as Dark Angels came out, I was like, okay, I can't do anything anymore. It's awesome. They're more durable. They shoot a lot harder. They have better units and better abilities. Awesome. And Death Guard were like, oh, you had a melee playstyle? That's just shut down. And also you have the problem that you can't kill stuff. Necrons just don't kill stuff. Their damage is terrible. And that's a really bad place to be when your defense isn't best in the game. You can't afford to have little damage.
Yeah. You have to offset that, unfortunately.
Yeah. How do you feel about 5-up Invul and Baby Transhuman if they FAQ to allow dense cover?
It already does allow dense cover because of the way the rare rules interact. I've seen it's in the FAQs. It's because when a unit isn't receiving the benefits of cover, they still get the benefits of dense. It's when an offensive unit that is shooting you, when an offensive unit is shooting you that ignores all the benefits of cover, then they ignore dense. But if you're not receiving the benefit of cover, then you still receive dense. Especially since you can still receive dense if they're shooting through a forest, even if you're not receiving the benefit of it because you're not in it. It's the whole thing. But yeah, you still get it. We got a $5 super chat from Jason Harrison at me. After Crucible, do you think Bangles can compete, or are you going to switch to Black Templars? Well, I've sworn a vow to take Black Templars
with a sword.
With a sword.
Charity.
What's that?
Charity is the name of the sword.
I donate all my money to charity.
Mike Brandt named it.
Yes, I've sworn a vow to take Black Templars to Austin, GW Austin, but Blood Angels is still my favorite army at the moment, and I think they are still pretty good.
How do you feel about Blood Angels into Black Templars?
That's an interesting match. I think Blood Angels are favored there because they're just faster. They're just way faster.
And they probably hit hard enough to actually...
Yeah, you can just crack them. I think Blood Angels actually beat Black Templars.
Probably. Redemptors do not help there.
No. You do not want to be the guy with Redemptors in the Blood Angel matchup.
3 Redemptors on G-Dub's terrain.
Yeah. No, I think Blood Angels are still good. I think they absolutely are still good.
They're great on G-Dub's terrain.
They're great on G-Dub's terrain. On GW terrain, they're legitimately, I think, A tier. And I got Nick to agree with that.
No, I 100% agree with that.
So if you mess up, you lose an entire unit of Sangard and it sucks. And you couldn't lose the game off that.
Yep.
So you can't mess up. But if you don't mess up, you're good. What do we got?
Old reanimations, yeah, it's just not going to happen. Like, I don't mind this one, but there should have been... They put in a restriction where you can't get more than +1 to reanimations. The only ways to do that is, of course, through the reanimator. And...
The reanimator?
Yes, there's a separate unit. Jack, this unit came out, it was 110 points. It's a T5
reanimator?
6 wound unit that you have to be within 6 inches of and visible. Have that unit 6 inches and visible.
Well, because you got to get there's a little ray that gets you back,
well,
right? Yeah.
I design rays that don't need walls.
Very fluffy.
And don't have to be right next to them. So it started at 110 points, and it was the one thing that went down. It went down 30 points to 80.
And you still don't see it?
No.
What is it? It just gives you +1 to your reanimations while you're in line of sight?
Yes, while you're within 6 inches in line.
Do you have to pick a unit to do it?
Yes, in your command phase.
So turn 1, it doesn't help you at all.
You have to spend 2 CP on the strat, and then you could pick a unit.
Yikes.
Big yikes.
That should just be every unit within...
If it went down another like 20 points, then it's actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But at 80 points, it's not bad to reanimate on 4s. Rerolling 1s with warriors. Once again, it buffs warriors in particular. But because there's so many planes and indirect, it just dies. But I would love to have it in my list.
Yeah, at 60 points, I think that'd be pretty ludicrous.
I don't know about
ludicrous. That'd be good.
It has no defense and doesn't do anything besides that.
I don't know. It sucked real bad when I almost killed a unit, and it was just like, nothing happened.
Yeah. Like it would. No, I'm saying it would be really good at 60 points.
Yeah.
Like it just isn't good enough right now. And if they changed the rule and made it worth 80 points, that's fine. but I think it still needs to be cheaper.
Well, it's a good thing Necrons haven't had their 9th edition codex yet, right, AC?
Yeah, it'd be a shame if they got a 9th edition book. Oh, wait.
Oh, right. Oh,
The only
nuts.
saving grace is that warriors are good, but they could use a points decrease because they're 13 points. Like, you compare them to pretty much any other infantry unit that has come out in a good codex, and it just is like, why are they like 5 points more? It just doesn't line up. But they're still the best thing in there. And
Wow, this really turned into a Necrons.
well, I'm building the Ghost Ark, and it's everybody wants to talk about
It's
Necrons.
put you in the mood.
Is taking a Doom Scythe for the damage? Is it trash? It's not trash. It's definitely not trash. The Doom Scythe has good guns. It has a 3-shot Strength 12 AP4 flat 3 plus D3.
Is that the flyer?
This is the flyer, yeah.
Yeah, nerf
It's
it.
the gun.
It's a flyer. Get it out of here.
It's 200 points though. It's T6 and it's 3-up armor. No invuln, no transhuman. No quantum shield.
T6, 3-up armor, no invul, no transhuman. What is this? How many wins does it have?
12.
This thing dies like
Dies
that.
pretty much instantly, but it has 2 good guns. It has the basically 3-shot las cannon that's strength 12 and AP4. Not bad. And then it also has a 10-shot Tesla weapon that is strength 7, no AP, 1 damage. But if you're in Mephrit, both guns are 36-inch range, so they go to 39 in Mephrit, and in half range are extra AP. So hilariously, the big gun goes to AP 5, which is unnecessary, but
Very
cool.
unnecessary.
But it's cool against those AdMech flyers when they pop +1 save
You're
cover.
like, yeah, get out of here. You actually are.
You're
dead
still
now.
taking 6-ups.
Yeah, see, AP5 matters.
Yeah, and then that's fine. The other weapon with 10 shots Tesla and strength 7 AP1 is actually not a bad weapon, but there's no rerolls, and the unit has no defense, and it's 200 points. That makes me, because it's like 60 more points, I get a full unit of 20 warriors, and I can win the mission on that. I just prefer that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you run the flyers, you really need the Deceiver, because he has the ability to put them into strategic reserve for free if you go second.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go second when you have like 3 of these things.
And then the problem there is you spent 200 points per flyer and 350 points on the Deceiver, and your army has nothing in it.
Well, you could probably take the Nightbringer in that.
No, you're not taking the Nightbringer. I don't care.
I'm just saying, you have
You're
a 7
taking as
model
many
army, and it's
warriors
fine.
and ghost arcs and stuff as possible to have any semblance of board control. But man, is it not a lot.
What if you don't need board control?
You do.
I mean,
You do.
what if you don't? Like, what if you just use that legendary damage output the Necrons are known for?
It's just not. Even then, you're still not just tabling stuff because you have no rerolls. It's just completely random. Necrons have a huge orc problem because they're not killing buggies. There's just no way. -1 to hit 5-up invuln for a turn. You're doing nothing, so you're getting shot 2 turns by these buggies.
Yeah, no, I'm
You're just tabled.
not convinced that that there's a single way for Necrons to be buggies. Like, I don't think there's a single way.
Yeah, there's no reliable damage.
I'm not convinced on that matchup. Let me put it that way.
Somebody recommended the Gauss Pylon for 5-up invulns on them.
That is throwing good money after bad.
100 more points than the Deceiver. They get to stay on the board and a 5-up invuln jack.
So you get to roll dice and then they die, instead of you don't get to roll dice and they don't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as they move out of that, they're dead.
Yes. Unlike AdMech flyers that never have to leave your side of the board because they
Yeah,
just
they have
rotate
48-inch
twice.
range on the last cannons, 36 on the...
Hyper balanced. I've never seen a more balanced.
Well, they're Mars, so they get access to the reroll. And then they have the canonical for reroll, hit, wounded, damage roll. That's consistency, baby.
Sure is. It's why they're
Also, their -1 to hit can be a second minus to hit with chaff launchers from the strat, from Smokescreen strat.
Oh, so you get -1 to hit and -1 damage.
Yes.
That is very good.
Well, you have to spend for a strat to get the extra minus to hit. But it's still... -1 damage. I never did it. But it just never came up. It was never necessary. I was like, I don't care if they kill the flyers anyway. My army is actually good without the flyers. Mm-hmm. But Necrons are not good.
No. They
Period.
sure aren't.
The equivalent AdMech flyer is 10 points cheaper, -1 damage. Yes. It's 20 points cheaper because the chaff launcher one is 180 points.
And you can give them +1 save and cover.
Yep. For a turn, but still. That's
The
enough.
turn that matters before your opponent gets brutally tabled.
Yeah. Max Obsec Ghost Arcs, minimum warriors, move block all the objectives. Like, honestly, that's, I think, one of the better ways you could play Necrons. It's just... Because you need some sort of speed. I took some memes against Jack, but if you want to be able to play the mission, you need to be able to contest your opponent's objectives. Doesn't have to be many. 1 or 2 turns is usually enough. And for that, you need speed, and Necron speed is hilariously overcosted.
What do you even have?
You got Canoptic units, so you got the Wraiths and the Scarabs. Scarabs are reasonably cheap, but they have no defense unless you throw the Chronomancer buff on them. And they give up no prisoners like no other unit in the game.
What are they, 4 apiece?
They're 4 apiece, baby.
Yikes.
So you know those old 9-man units with 5-up invuln?
I mean, you're speed running how fast you can give your opponent no prisoners.
Yeah, you're just...
No prisoners any percent. I'm just saying.
You might be contesting their primary, but you're giving up a 5-15 on secondaries for sure. So you better have equally good secondaries and also be controlling the primary. That's just bad. So you don't run those big units anymore. You run the minimum ones. But they're still fast. They move 10 inches. They're easy to hide. And they can go contest an objective if they're in the Obsec Dynasty. Great. Canoptic Wraiths are much more expensive. They have more defense inbuilt, and they can do somewhat damage, but still not very good.
No, it's not great damage.
And
there's no rerolls, right? So it's just... I mean, I assume you can make them...
You can give them plus to hit. You can give them extra attack.
That's not bad.
It's fine. But they're expensive, honestly.
They hit on 3s base?
4s. +1 they hit on 3s. They used to have... They got some of their stats switched.
They still have a 3-up invuln?
No. No. Games Workshop has been taking away 3-up invulns by and large, outside of once per game stuff.
Yeah, Drago has it, I think.
Drago does. He actually, they nerfed him in the FAQ and then added it back in.
Thank God.
But
they
just wanted to make the point.
8th edition was the edition where they removed 2-up invulns, and 9th edition is the edition where they're removing 3-up invulns.
Well, they didn't remove the Shatterfield yet. The Shadowfield.
Shadowfield, yeah, but I mean, how many times can one man pass a 2-up save? I ask ominously.
I've seen it, like 20 plus dice, and you're still not making a roll in a 1.
Yeah, it's just you just can't kill it reliably.
Yeah,
it's very annoying.
It is very annoying, but honestly, that mortal wounds, just bring mortal wounds. What about Tomb Blades? Tomb Blades also 14-inch move, 30-inch range guns on the Gauss weapons.
Oh, this sounds really good. What are you complaining about?
Right? Like this is good. Then,
points?
Well, hold on. 4-up armor save no invuln, but they're -1 to hit. However, the game has so many ways to ignore minuses to hit.
Yes.
But -1 to hit's not bad. T5, 2 wounds. 30 points. Which isn't horrific. It's not horrific. I like them in Mefrit because you can get them AP3 in half range. And with the speed and the range, you can actually get in half range of an AdMech blob and just put a bunch of AP3 into it. It's actually one of the better tools. That and Sky Falling Stars are the 2 ways Necrons can deal with AdMech blobs. So, Tomb Blades are actually not bad. They need to go down like 4 points, 5 points, and then they would actually be good. Because they don't have an inbuilt invuln, and that is just killer.
So what GW's hearing right now is please increase the points on Tomb Blades by 3-4 points.
Yeah, make sure they're never good.
I don't know. I played against Decurion back in the day, and Tomb Blades were unable to be killed. You could not kill them. They had multiple wounds when that wasn't really a thing, and then they also had a 4-up Feel No Pain.
It's just
could not put them away. You just couldn't put them away.
The problem with the big units is they're not the Tomb Blades is their 2 wounds, so reanimation isn't amazing on them, but it's also not terrible. But you're not getting back that many models.
No, and if you're getting chipped, you're not getting anything back.
Exactly. Yeah. So the first unit to shoot chips, and then you shoot the Ranger Brick, and you pick the whole unit up. And it's 270 points for 9 of them. That's a lot of points.
That is like so many
10 points less, you get 20 warriors out of it.
Or you get... what Lich Guard? Shield Guard?
Shield Guard, that'd be 280 points for 10 of them.
Yeah. How good are Shield Guard? Because they seem decent.
I mean, you saw them. They killed like 2 Black Templar models.
Yeah, Black Templars are immortal, so like, what do you want from me?
They're good if I had the Silent King over there. which I just should have based on context of the game, but he gives reroll wounds to them.
It's a lot of
Yeah, so they could have hit on 2s, and from the Lord rerolled 1s, and then they could have rerolled wounds from the Silent King. With AP3, 1 damage kind of sucks. They're 28 points a model. They could probably go down 2 points.
Are they that much worse than Blade Guard?
Yes.
Okay. Just I'll take your word for it.
Yes.
Okay.
8 flat 2 damage is really good.
For 8 points or 7 points or whatever?
Well, you also have access to trans. You have
And
access
an
to
extra
other-
wound.
And the extra wound. I get T5. You get an extra wound. Extra wound is a hell of a lot better. You have access to transhuman, which is massive.
Have access to
And
resin
then
models back.
They have so
you
many
do.
more potentials for offensive buffs.
That's true.
So, Blade Guard are just better, but they're not like infinitely better, but they're significantly better.
They do the same role and they do about the same level. but they're more
Flat 2
expensive.
damage is just
Flat 2 damage is very good. I'm not trying to say Lich Guard are better than.
no.
I'm not out here with the hottest of takes about how
Hmm.
good Necrons are.
No.
Maybe I'll start playing them like I started playing Blood Angels, and maybe I'll just start rocking events with them.
Yeah, the problem is the Lich Guard are just very slow, and it's hard to get them wherever they are in position is going to be where they are for the game, pretty much.
I don't love that.
Whereas Blade Guard, White Scars, Advance and Charge,
Black
really
Templars, they used to.
Also, you have
really
access to the
fast.
Chief Apothecary, just bring back models.
Yeah, which is also a lot of mobility too.
Yeah. The monolith is trash. If it had fly, it would still be trash, but it would at
It
least
doesn't
be
have
closer.
fly,
They took fly away from it and made
so
it
it
super
doesn't
heavy.
move. Why did they give it a movement characteristic if it doesn't get to move?
It literally cannot move. So it's bad.
Just confused by that.
$2 super chat from Clown Mode. Gut feeling will craft worlds be broken? 100%. There's no doubt.
They've always been broken every time they've come out.
It's been a while since we've seen a Wraith Lord, honestly.
Oh, you weren't around for Wraith Knights,
I
buddy.
didn't play for the Wraith Knights.
You did not play for the Wraith Knights. They were good. They were real good.
They do. Are Harlequins good for competitive? They are still a solid army. Their damage potential has dropped dramatically in the context of the game, simply because everything else has got a lot more punishing.
Here's the other
And there's
problem.
a lot of mortal wounds in the game right now, and Harlequins hate mortal wounds.
Yeah, well, here's the big issue that Harlequins have right now, is that I think you have to be a good player to make them work. Just because the playstyle is so fragile and whatnot, you have to be really good to make them work. And good players, they're not quite good enough that all the good players play them. So you have...
They
only a
have
couple.
very good tricks, and they can deny primary extremely well. They have speed. The problem is they compete in the same category as Drukhari, and Drukhari just have more stuff and have better rules.
Yeah, they're basically Drukhari light, and when you need to be a good player to play them, unlike Drukhari where you can be a monkey, like a literal, they haul them out of the zoo.
Drukhari is the equivalent of Protoss and the StarCraft equivalent.
See, so you gotta get me back into that. Get back into StarCraft. After thoroughly demolishing me effortlessly, probably with one hand.
Like the amount, just think of it. The Drukhari player is like the Protoss player sending an Arbiter into your base and just recalling an army in
Don't
there.
know what you're talking about.
Anybody in chat who played StarCraft knows. They know. My favorite stream ever. It's a good one. But we are nearing the end.
Yes, we are.
I am good on this part of because the next section has a bunch of extra pieces, and I'm not going to build that right now.
Okay, I'm good here.
You're good there? All right.
Bunch of Crusaders.
But tune in later for more StarCraft 40k analogies, because we got plenty of them here. And in the Discord, I put a bunch of new places in chat. So there's a whole Total War Warhammer chat. There's a StarCraft subsection. So
Listen,
if you're interested in that,
also,
join our membership and get in the Discord. 'cause
if you
there's a
try
lot of fun
really
there.
hard, you can get me to make all kinds of analogies about Warhammer and comparing it to MMA if you really try. And then Siegs over here has zero interest in MMA. And so you can make this a really fun stream for me now.
I bet. $2 super chat from Tim Penny. I rescued 3 Wraith Knights from eBay in anticipation. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. If you were interested in Eldar, just start picking up Craft World stuff and see where it lands. Warfire has tons of stuff really cheap. oftentimes like fully painted, so you can just go there and get units.
Oh, El Kukui. Just remember next time. Next, Hangout and Hobby, you can ask as many MMA questions as you want, and I will sit here and answer all of them while Seeks has that look on his face.
What do you think the new Custodes book will entail? I have no idea, honestly. I would love more of a Hero Hammer style, like more elite squads that are really just hard to deal with. Do you think Drukhari FAQ is coming? I would hope they deal with Orc Buggies first, then Drukhari and Admech. In that order.
All right.
Can't wait to see what I do with Tau. I cannot wait. Who knows? I just hope it's not only shooting buffs, because they really need to be a
If they're just a direct line of sight army,
it's not going to be good.
Just shoot and they don't do anything, they will be incredibly boring and not very good.
There'll be people at the middle tables and they won't do anything top
People
tables.
who look at walls and don't really see the purpose in them and then put their army out in the open will get tabled.
The only reason I won a bunch of events in 8th edition is because I switched
Nope,
Tau
we're
to
good.
be a mole.
We're good.
And then
if you start comparing to chess, I swear to God,
and then I've done the same thing with Admech in 9th edition and just made it
a mobility army. You just fill up your deployment zone with rangers. What are you talking about?
A masterful chess-like
mobility army. You take a million planes. All right, they have high mobility, right? We have high mobility in these planes, and you just move them back and forth the whole game. Just shooting.
Then you wait
not
until
just
you
a
killed
shooting
your
army
opponent's
or a
ability.
mobility army.
When you kill your opponent's ability to deal with them, then you fly them into their backfield, clear the backfield, bring the Taraxi, and just win. It's a whole synergistic strategy here, Jack. It requires a chess master to play, and
I'm done here.
it's a great way to end the stream. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We got some awesome stream matches coming up. Tomorrow, we have Guard versus Black Templars. Jack playing the Black Templars with the new rules. Really excited about them. How many durable bricks are you running?
Probably 3.
Oh, man. John's going to have trouble.
I'm going all
He's going to have some trouble. And we're going to see what he does with the Cadian rolls. And then in the War Room, I am playing Grey Knights up against John playing Tyranids for the first time. The new Leviathan rules. I don't know what his list is going to be, but probably Hiveguard are going to be in it. I'm sure.
One hopes, yes.
But that's going to be exciting. So tune in then. Hope to see you there. And appreciate everybody's support during the Hangout and Hobbies. We will see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
There's so many rules in 40K, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.